midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Hello, good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. The news is live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on our affiliates across the country, all around the world. We are live at citinewsroom.com. I am Ni Latte here with
Inu Safo.
And coming up over the next 60 minutes, 2 armed robbers shot dead, 2 others on the run after a gun battle with police at Goma Budumburam in the central region. More as a police officer has been left wounded after the exchange. Also in this edition, small-scale miners describe Lands Ministry's latest introduction of technology in fighting illegal mining as an exercise in futility.
Those who are destroying our water bodies and those who are destroying our rivers are especially people who are in gas or people who have been put in affairs to help in curbing this. So integrating this technology, I don't think is going to do any good for us.
Still ahead on Citi Prime News, National Health Insurance Authority pushes for an upward review of the 6 Ghana cedis premium paid by subscribers onto the NHIS.
That's the fees we take for putting people on the scheme. It's about 6 Ghana cedis. And this was the fee we charged some 16, 17 years ago. It hasn't moved a bit.
And much later, we shine the light on the race for the national chairmanship position for the National Democratic Congress as the party prepares for the big one this weekend. All that and more here on Citi Prime News, which is live on Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi in the Western Region. Bono region, this is Green at 95.9 FM in Sunyani. If you are listening to us in the Ashanti region, welcome to Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Revival 99.3 FM in Tajehu and Ku 103.5 FM in Ho. In the Northern region, this is Radio Bimbala 91.9 FM and Tanga 93.7 FM in Bolga in the Upper East region and Tunson 97.3 FM in Wa in the Upper West region. The Citi Prime News is also streaming live on Facebook on Citi 97.3 FM and on our YouTube channel, Citi Tube. We have details of our stories and more coming up shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You made the right choice. This afternoon, we begin with illegal mining because the National Association of Concerned Small-Scale Miners has described the latest adaptation of technology to fight illegal mining as an exercise in futility. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo, last week announced that the ministry and its agencies will adapt the use of technology to fight galamsey. According to the minister, technology has been identified as a major tool to aid in the fight against the menace. Reacting to this development, the Association of Concerned Small-Scale Miners says the move must be aborted by the ministry immediately. Kojo Pepra is president of the association.
We see this approach as an act to get money for certain individuals who have been appointed in fighting against this galamsey problem. The reason being is if we can all put our minds back when the Interministerial Against Illegal Mining was inaugurated, led by Professor Fimpo Boateng. They brought about this Galam Stop application, which he touted that it was going to help in curbing this galamsey issue. The Galam Stop came into being, and as we speak now, we don't know where this Galam Stop software is, so we couldn't achieve anything. So the fight against illegal mining using technology would not yield any result, because those who are destroying our water bodies and those who are destroying our rivers are especially people who are in gas or people who have been put in affairs to help in curbing this problem. As a matter of fact, government has brought about this community mining scheme, and the community mining scheme, I can speak on authority, is now being infiltrated by Chinese. And those people who have been launched to engage in this community mining scheme are people in government. And as a matter of fact, when you go, the way they are ravaging our forest reserves and our water bodies, nobody can just go there and then stop them. So integrating this technology, I don't think is going to do any good for us. It's only a matter of they trying to loot and share, because at the end of the day, somebody is going to bring the software and they are going to use our taxpayers' money in trying to pay those people. So we don't think this approach is going to do any good for the fight against galamsey.
That's Kojo Pepra. He is president of the National Association of Concerned Small-Scale Miners.
The National Health Insurance Authority wants a national debate on a possible review of the processing fee charged to get onto the National Health Insurance Scheme. The NHIA says for the past 17 years, an amount of 6 cedis is charged as fees to be an NHIS beneficiary. Speaking at a meeting with President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House, CEO of the NHIA, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, says a review will be important going into the future.
Our processing fees, that's the fees we take for putting people on the scheme, is about 6 Ghana cedis. And this was the fee we charged some 16, 17 years ago. It hasn't moved a bit. And largely it's been so because anytime you raise the issue, people say that, no, don't go there, it can ruffle things. So I believe that with time, there ought to maybe be a national conversation so that we even spend sometimes more in trying to get the people on than what they pay for the process that we put them on the scheme. And then the other one is that for those who are not SNIT contributors, who don't pay anything through taxes to the scheme, their premium is about 26 Ghana cedis for a year. And this was the premium some 15 years ago. It hasn't moved a bit. So these are it's processing fee. Yes. So I am a SNIT contributor, so I only pay processing fee, which is 6 cedis for a year. But if you are not a SNIT contributor, informal sector, your premium you pay in addition to the 6 cedis, everything comes with 26 Ghana cedis for a year. So that is one challenge.
Dr. Okoboy also announced that prostate cancer, which mainly affects men, will next year be added to the NHIS.
Prostate cancer. Mr. President, the men are complaining that breast cancer and cervical cancer are covered by national health insurance, but prostate cancer is not covered. And I'm happy to say that we've done all the actuarial work, and hopefully by first half of next year, we hope to bring that one on board as well. So this is the way of benefits that have come, have been added to the package since you took up office.
CEO of the NHIA, Dr. Bernard Okoboy.
Well, away from that, let's bring you one of our top stories this hour, because 2 suspected robbers have been shot dead, while 2 others have escaped after engaging in a gun battle with police officers from the anti-armed robbery unit of the Ghana Police Service at Goma-Budumburam in the central region. Citi News sources say a police officer who sustained gunshot wounds to the hand is receiving treatment at the St. Gregory Catholic Hospital. The incident, according to Citi News sources, happened late yesterday after the police got wind of a robbery operation. Motorbikes belonging to the robbers were seized by the police after the shootout. Here are some eyewitnesses speaking to Citi News about the incident.
All I heard were gunshots. When I drew closer, I saw it was the police who were involved in a gun battle with armed robbers. There was blood on the ground. The police shot 2 people dead, while 2 managed to escape, but one of the police officers was shot in the arm.
We do not know where they came from. We were told that the police chased the men all the way to Liberia camp. The police shot 2 of them dead, but 2 managed to escape. People think Liberia camp is full of rascals, but today we have been vindicated. They chased them from Accra all the way here. The police are doing a good job.
Apart from there, I can see how Robert if Accra.
Those were some eyewitnesses of the shooting incident at Gomwa Budumburam in the Central Region.
The leadership of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana says it expects the government to address the concerns of its members after the union suspended an indefinite strike following negotiations. TUTAG, in November this year, embarked on an indefinite strike over internally generated funds, related conditions of service, off-campus, and vehicle maintenance allowance of members. Although some technical universities have postponed their reopening due to the strike, the leadership of the union says all members will comply with the directive to suspend the strike. Professor Collins Amiao is the president of TUTAG.
Government has shown some commitment. Yes, we embarked on the strike action demanding three major issues. The first one has to do with our IGF-related conditions of service. No, the negotiation had been done, everything was ready. We were just waiting for the Ministry for Finance to actually give the approval to give effect to the condition of service. But there was some feet dragging, probably because there was some disagreement with the effective date. So the negotiation and then the NLC's ruling actually clarified the issues, and then government saw the reason to approve the IGF-related conditions of service for us. So that has been done. The second issue had to do with the off-campus, and the third one, the car maintenance allowances. So that is where we are. We have been very considerate and we have been very accommodating because we think about Ghana, we think about our students, and we think about the progress of this nation.
Professor Collins Amiao is the president of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana.
A reminder that this is still the City Prime News on 97.3 City FM. My name is Ni Latte here with Eno Safo. Our top stories this hour: 2 armed robbers shot dead, 2 others on the run after a gun battle with police at Gomwa Budumburam in the Central Region. We've brought you details as a police officer has been left wounded after the exchange. Also, small-scale miners in the country have described the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources' latest introduction of technology in fighting illegal mining, also known as galamsey, as an exercise in futility. Also, the National Health Insurance Authority, that's the NHIA, is pushing for an upward review of the 6 Ghana cedis premium paid by subscribers onto the NHIS. The City Prime News is live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Also live on our affiliates across the country, all around the world. We are live at citinewsroom.com. The bulletin is also streaming on Facebook, on Citi 97.3 FM, and on our channel on YouTube, which is CityTube. Let's bring you more stories now, because the Ghanaian consumer has been overstretched this year. Therefore, traders should reduce prices as the cedi stabilizes. This is an appeal from the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. It will be recalled that members of GUTA in Kumasi and Accra shut their shops to demand favorable economic conditions as the depreciation of the cedi, import duties and other levies subjected their businesses to losses as Christmas approaches. However, the leadership of GUTA has appealed to its members to reduce prices as the cedi stabilizes, with some marginal decreases in fuel prices. Vice President of GUTA, Clement Boatin, believes a careful decrease that will not impact the profit margins of the traders will give Ghanaians the much-needed respite.
I can tell you that suppliers for the festive mood has already been done. We have already made purchases for supplies for the festive mood. So even if we are going to make any purchases again, then those purchases will come after the festive mood. But you see, what we are saying is that, like you rightly said, maybe the time that we made those purchases, the cedi was a little bit higher compared to as against the dollar. So now that the cedi seems to appreciate a bit, we should try as much as possible to strike a balance. Not that you sell in a way that you will lose, but at least you don't try to you don't expect to make so much profit, but you should try and reduce their prices so that whatever losses that you might have incurred during the time that the cedi fell drastically. At least you could be able to also gain something to complement that, but not that you reduce the thing to the extent that you still run at a loss. But those price increase that people were making, and then were making astronomical profit. This is what we are advising our members, that at least they should try. We cannot force anybody to do something which will not be of his or her interest. But at least, since we are building a country together and we all find ourselves in a situation that I think if we try as much as possible to do something, it will all help us. That is why we are appealing. We are not forcing anybody, because like you rightly said, I am the one who is going to make my purchases, and therefore, if you appeal to me that I should try and adjust my prices, I can choose to do it or not to do it. That's one you have the right, to determine whatever you want to do. But it's an appeal. It's an appeal that we are making, that at least we should also take the plight of the consumer into consideration, because we all know that the Ghanaian consumer, has been overstretched.
Clement Boateng is Vice Chairman of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. Now, 2 earth tremors have hit parts of Accra. The 2 tremors were recorded around 11 a.m. on Monday, December 12, 2022. Some of the places that recorded the tremor included Adabra, Kagbawe, Makati Hills, and Malam. People in places that recorded the tremor have already turned to social media to report their experiences. Nicholas Opoku is with the Department of Seismology.
We were going around over the weekend restoring some of the stations that were not working. Fortunately, we were able to restore that of Ouija, but we have a challenge with the transmission system, so we are not getting the data directly at the observatory. So we are now currently going around picking data to analyze those, and we can speak to it to know how much energy was released by the ground and the exact location where the event occurred. So I will ask listeners to exercise patience for us to gather all the necessary data so that we can give them exact information about this particular event.
But before we wait for the data, it equally points to the fact that, Ghanaians generally are saying the F just shook. They don't really appreciate what really happened. Not to speak to the data, but what should we be worried about and what should we not be worried about? And what really happened?
You see, the whole thing is that, this is not what we should say, news. It's not a new thing. We've been experiencing this from time to time. Even the recent ones have been occurring in 2018, 2019, 2020. And as we've been saying all this while, the Accra and its environs is situated in the earthquake-prone zone. So from time to time, we'll be experiencing these minor earthquakes until such a time that the major one will occur. We are not very sure how much our infrastructure will respond to a major earthquake. So that is why when the earthquake committee was set up by the president, all the necessary measures that needs to be done to ensure that we live safely where earthquakes have been outlined. And then gradually they are working on it. Reducing exposure to earthquake is a major thing that even the committee said that you can't easily reduce exposure overnight. It will take much time of studies, looking at the vulnerability of buildings and all those things before we can. So that's a long-term measure. Okay. So the short-term...
Continue.
Yeah, so the short-term measures are for people to know what to do during an earthquake. And we've been speaking a lot on this, telling people what to do during an earthquake. So all these helps to reduce the risk or to reduce a major disaster.
But we were actually on a story building and it happened. And
you were
in a story building when it happened.
Where exactly? Where exactly?
Adabraka.
Adabraka. So you felt it at Adabraka.
We felt it so hard. Okay, the early morning one was quite mild. Then this one was quite heavy. And the spacing in terms of the morning till it happened the second time was just more like some 2 to 3 hours. What really happens? I mean, someone on a story building and someone just walking on the ground. What should be the worry here?
The worry is that's why when we look into the data, we'll be able to find out the frequency content of the earthquake itself. Frequency content plays a key role in earthquake because that's what we use to assess resonance. Because a certain frequency will resonate with a certain height of building. You see, so we are going to analyze all this to be able to understand whether 6-story buildings, 2-story buildings, or a single building or whatever will be shaken more or will experience much damage in the event of a major earthquake. I mean, if the natural frequency of the building coincides with the dominant frequency of the earthquake, the shaking, the buildings become so excited and it shakes more. Okay, and so that is all. These are all some of the issues that we are going to look in reducing vulnerability and also come up with the exact height of buildings that is appropriate.
Okay.
Mostly if you are very close to an earthquake source and your ground is very competent, tall buildings normally resist such earthquakes than short ones. Far away from the earthquake and you are on a softer grounds, tall buildings doesn't perform well in such cases, short buildings. So these are all things that we are still studying to make sure that we use it to reduce vulnerability.
That's Nicholas Opoku. He is with the Department of Seismology, and that interaction with my colleague Fredu in the Citi Newsroom, telling us about the earth tremor that hit part of Accra earlier this morning. Let's go to the central region because it also occurred there. Calvis Tete is our central regional correspondent. He joins us on the line with more updates. Well, Calvis, it happened twice here in Accra. What was the situation like in the central region?
Well, it also happened twice here around Iron City in the South municipality. Around 10:30 a.m., the first one, very quick one occurred. It just passed through. And then around 11:15 thereabout, another one occurred. That one lasted for about 3 seconds. I mean, that is what actually woke persons who are living in these communities, it woke them up because, I mean, most of them are new to this. So some of them were actually asking what exactly that was. It just passed through in quick succession. I spoke to some persons around Iron City and McCarthy, and then they are saying that they believe, there should be a lot of education on some of these things and what they can do in the unlikely event of emergency. Persons here are surprised that this is happening because this is the first time some of them are actually experiencing this. Some thought it was just their building shaking, but upon interaction with other persons around, they realized that it was an earth tremor.
So I wonder if these residents have moved to safer zones. What has been their precautionary measures?
Well, when the incident happened, some of them who were inside their room moved out to the compound of the house just to prevent any unforeseen occurrences. Others are also on high alert to see if indeed it will happen again. Then if not, maybe perhaps they can move back into their room, but they are still on high alert.
But have we also heard from authorities? In fact, the Ghana Meteorological Agency, have they been engaging residents, or what is the situation like there too?
Well, the authorities have not engaged the media yet. We are yet to hear from them on updates of the issue. But from what I can say is that persons around Iron City and McCarthy Hill, McCarthy Hill is a bit up the hill, so persons who live there, after speaking to them, they say they are a bit afraid that this thing should come again. So they believe authorities should come out quickly, to give them, to tell them what to do in the unlikely event that it comes again, possibly even this evening.
But you say that this is not the first time something of this sort has happened in the area. When did the last incident occur?
Well, when I spoke to some of the individuals who witnessed it, they said, I think 2 years ago at McCarthy Hill, the incident happened. But for those living around Iron City, most of them say this is the first time they're actually experiencing such an incident.
All right, thank you. That's Calvis Tete. He is our central regional correspondent. And so the story is that 2 earth tremors have occurred here in Accra and also in the central region We've heard from Nicholas Opoku, who is with the Department of Seismology here in the country. Let's come back to Accra from the central region and speak to Richard Delaskai. He is co-host of the Citi Breakfast Show. Thank you so much, Sky, for joining us on Citi Prime News. Currently, where are you and what is the situation like?
Okay, so I am at the First National Bank, one of the offices just opposite the National Theatre. And also that is just next to the Accra International Trade Center. And then also not far, the World Trade Center, and also not far from the ASTA Secretariat. The, the City House is also just next door. And I can tell you that several thousands of people have spilled over onto the streets. And initially when I saw them, I got the impression that maybe there was a major activity happening there in connection with the haircut matter. But getting down and talking to them, they tell me that they have had to rush out of the high-rise buildings here, apparently because of, the tremor that they had experienced in this part of the capital. And the numbers are huge because there are about, if I'm not mistaken, about 3,000 or 4,000 or so people in the street just walking about. These are people in their suits. These are people in their working gear. These are people who basically are afraid that something might happen, informing their decision to rush out of their building. I think it's just fair if I can just talk to a number of people to find out why they have had to rush out. Chief, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us on Citi FM. Why are you out? So tell me, what was the experience like?
We had a stake in the building, so we had to move out of the building for them to check whether everything is safe. That is why we all came out of the office.
Okay, on which floor were you and in which building?
I was down on the ground floor.
On the ground?
Yeah, we had about 3 or 4 shakes, so we had to close. We all had to stop everything and move back, and move outside for them to check everything, and so that we know if we are safe or not.
What was the feeling like getting out? I mean, and was it ordered?
It was scary because you would not know what was happening. We didn't know what was happening, so we all had to come out. Even as we stand where we are standing now, we don't feel safe. We feel we should even cross to the other side so that if there is anything, we would be safe. Because where we are, if the building should come down, it would affect all of us now.
Thank you very much for talking to me. And I've also just met a former member of parliament here, the Honorable Bambangi. Honorable Babangi, why are you here? Are you also affected by the earth tremor that we experienced a short while ago?
Well, I was in the office of the chief executive of GESEL, and then we're just having a chat, discussing some issues, and then we noticed it. We felt some shake-up, on the floor. And yes, even our chairs that we're sitting on, we felt there was some shake-up. So I said, is there some earth tremor? Then he rushed out and asked his staff that, no, I didn't. Then he asked them, are we safe? I said, who determines that? So that is what happened. And I suspect that it's an earth tremor. I've just come out of the office.
Thank you so much, Honorable Bangi, for talking to me. So basically, that is a situation. It's not clear as to when the people here on the street will be going back in. But it looks like policy would have to respond to situations like this. Because having people on the street after a tremor, there has to be some guidance as to what exactly people should do, where they should gather when things like this happen going forward. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you to you, Richard Delaskai, co-host of the Citi Breakfast Show, telling us about that seismic movement experienced in parts of Accra from the National Theatre area. Let's go back and listen to a resident of Makati Hills telling us about the experience.
A kind of vibration this morning.
Yeah, I felt it. It was a sudden one. I was in the room. So I was asking my children, what is that? What is the noise, that vibration? But they were saying, oh, it's nothing. But I felt the thing on the ground.
Okay, did you have items in your room shaking?
The top of the ceiling, the building was shaking.
Okay. How intense was it?
Not too much force, but there was a shaking. It was vibrating. A sudden one, yeah.
For about how many seconds?
A few seconds.
Okay, so are you aware that this place falls under the earthquake fault line?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But since we came here, it normally happens.
Okay.
It can happen sometimes in the evening.
So is this your first time experiencing something of that nature?
Okay, since I came here, this is my first time.
This is your first time?
Yeah.
Okay. Madam, have you ever heard or are you aware that some of these areas fall under the earthquake fault zone?
No. For here, as for here, no.
Okay. You are not aware, you haven't heard that conversation at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you feel hearing it and learning that it's an earth tremor?
Okay. When he said it was an earthquake, I was feeling normal because it didn't last for long.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Sir, please your name again.
My name is Vispan Bede.
You heard a resident of McCarthy Hills telling us about the earth tremor experienced in that part of the country. So 2 earth tremors have hit parts of Accra area, specifically at Dabraka, Bawe, McCarthy Hills, and its environs. As you may well be aware, this is not the first time something like this has happened in parts of Accra. In fact, the Ghana Geological Survey Authority has warned that the series of tremor occurrences in parts of Accra over the years is a signal of looming earthquake of greater magnitude in the future. Let's hear more reaction from a resident here in Accra telling us about how they felt when the earth shook.
It wasn't very strong. It felt very... You wouldn't even know that it was earth tremor, but I think I felt it. This is, I think, the lightest one I have felt. There's been previous ones which are very strong.
Did you come out of your shop?
The previous one, oh yes, we all came out of our rooms. Like it was very serious. Okay. Yes, it was. We had to run out of the room. Everybody was like, "Hey, as I said, so you know." You just have to come out and be safe.
So it was kind of shaking on the ground. Yeah, it was kind of bad, but all of a sudden there was a shake. And I was like, well, what's going on? But I thought it was something normal.
Have you felt this before?
No.
Was it scary?
Yeah, sort of.
You heard some residents here in Accra telling us about the experience as far as the earth tremor that occurred early this morning is concerned. Just as you may be aware, Nicholas Opoku with the Department of Seismology has indicated the department's collaboration with the Ghana Meteorological Agency to ensure that everyone is safe. But this is still the City Prime News here on 97.3 City FM live from our studios at number 11. Dr. Martin Loop in Dabraka in Accra. My name is Ni Latte. Still to come, we shine the light on the race for the national chairmanship position for the National Democratic Congress as the party prepares for the big one this weekend.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Afiwe, Black Stars fans say Atemdidieno.
Yeah, Jai!
Team selection.
Yeah, Jai!
Na coaching Ejumanen swear.
Yeah, Jai!
Hey, now Black Stars bit maybe be. Saka Sanonso.
Yeah, Jai!
No negative talk. Positive talking kwa. Mumayen kamum. Kata.
What is the worst case scenario we will see in the next 6 months if we don't stop this now? You've said 100% in some areas polluted, 60 some.
Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario with regards to our water security as a country in the next 6 months?
The immediate one will be that
probably we will not get.
In more news this hour, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is cautioning farmers and homeowners in the northern regions to take steps at protecting their farms and homes from fires during the season of Harmattan. The Harmattan season has always been associated with high risk of fire outbreak due to low humidity and dry air. Speaking to Citi News after presenting relief items to a family whose house was razed by a fire at Impaha Junction in the central Gunja district, the Savannah Regional Director of NADMO, Mohammed Tohe, advised residents in the north to take steps to protect their properties from bushfires.
We will now plead with everybody to create fire belts around their farms and their homes, and then always make sure that people are there in case of this. I believe if they had not gone to farm, they would have been able to quickly save some of the rooms. But they all went living with the old lady who could not do anything. But I thank my district director. They were not far, so immediately when it happened, he came and then caught it live and then sent it to me. You know, we've been with this fire disaster. Anytime it's Harmattan, it does happen, and then we talk. My district director have done enough on this campaign, and I am using this medium once again to advise everyone, farmers and then our homes, to do well and then stop this bush burning, because it's causing a lot of losses to families and the communities.
You heard the Savannah Regional Director of NADMO, Mohammed Tohe, speaking there.
A currency analyst, Courage Buti, is predicting a sustained stability in the value of the cedi against the US dollar, as witnessed in the past few days. The cedi, which started the year at 6 cedis 50 pesos, is now trading at about 12 cedis 50 pesos against the dollar. There's more in the following report.
Ghana's economy has been going through turbulent times since the beginning of the year, as it is plagued with a number of challenges, including high cost of living. Traders have attributed the high cost of living mainly to a hike in fuel prices and the depreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies, especially the dollar. The free fall of the cedi led to uncontrollable prices of goods on the markets, triggering the removal of the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. In October, Bloomberg tagged the Ghanaian cedi as the worst performing currency in the world, as it lost 45.1% of its value to the US dollar. In November, it was trading at an all-time high of 15 Ghana cedis to a dollar. In an interview with Citi News, Courage Buti says the recent improvements in the value of the cedi, which has now been described as the best performing currency in the world, following its stability over the past 3 weeks, is largely due to steps taken by the government and the central bank, which include Ghana's plan to restructure its debts.
So naturally, with clarity on debt treatment following the budget where we said, okay, there was going to be a debt exchange, and finally the announcement of the details of that exchange. And of course, the Bank of Ghana also responded within that period with some regulatory tightening, some resolve to inject liquidity on the market to even out volatility until an IMF program is achieved. And then, of course, the talk about gold for oil and all of those. So it appears the outlook for exchange rate is quite improved now. And then given the clarity now for debt exchange and all of that, the cedi has regained some stability, and for the speculators, stability is the trigger to start taking profit. So you realize that they'll start selling at the currently higher rate so that they can make the profit they intend to make. And that sales is what is improving supply on the market and underpinning that appreciating run. And I think with the debt restructuring announced now, what the trigger would have been is that if people are able to sell their bonds and exit their GOG bond position, then that would have fed into maybe those monies going into demanding some effects or repatriation of interest income and all of that for the foreigners.
Courage Boti is of the view that with all the structures that have been put in place at the moment, the cedi will end the year on a positive note.
I do not expect the cedi to fall or to appreciate above maybe 10 cedi to $1. By end of year, it could still get stronger, but probably would stabilize just around the low 12 or mid 11 cedi to $1 level by end of year.
You heard currency analyst Courage Boti ending that report by Citi News' Anita Kisimriku.
Away from that, let's do politics and go to the camp of the National Democratic Congress because its newly elected deputy youth organizer, Osman Abdullahi Ayariga, has jumped to the defense of his boss, George Opare Addo. Opare Addo, whose competence has been questioned by some party functionaries, like some George was retained by delegates in the youth conference over the weekend. But in an interview with Citi News, Osman Ayariga assured that the new leadership of the NDC youth wing will play its role effectively to help bring the party to power in 2024.
The party NDC should expect nothing less than competence and effective leadership from the youth wing. We all believe in the competence of George Opare Addo. And as I said, anyone who has put himself up for this election, if you look at the criteria and you look at the pedigree of any of the contestants or the contenders, each and everyone brought to the fore or is bringing to the front some level of competence and some skill that is needed by the party. So you may not find all what you're looking for in one person, but he possesses some skill and some leadership ability that is also very, very, very important to the party. I believe in the leadership and the competence of George Opare Addo, who is going to be my boss or who is my boss, who I will ably assist diligently and with my whole heart so that we all can be able to organize a party and achieve victory for the party come 2024, because the party is going to use the youth wing to be able to achieve the next electoral victory. So let no one think that this crop of executives cannot deliver. We shall deliver. And with the support and help from the youth of this party, we will get the party where we want to get, and that is victory 2024.
Osman Ayariga is the newly elected deputy youth organizer of the National Democratic Congress.
Close to 9,000 delegates will on December 17 converge on the Accra Sports Stadium to elect new executives to spearhead affairs of the National Democratic Congress at the national level and hope to lead the party to victory 2024. The following report highlights the aspirants contesting for the chairmanship position.
The race for the chairmanship position has been keenly contested by four party bigwigs. The aspirants include the incumbent chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo. Mr. Ampofo was elected chairman in 2018. He says the party has become more attractive under his leadership, hence he should be given another mandate to help recapture power in the 2024 elections. Mr. Ampofo argues that the party requires a formidable team to rescue the country from the current government.
I wish to respectively and humbly urge and entreat all delegates to vote for me come December 17. Be assured that a vote for me is a vote for unity. It's a vote for stronger party. It's a vote for inclusiveness. It's a vote for hard work. And ultimately, it's a vote for victory in 2024. I am the people's chairman. And I have an unfinished agenda. Vote for me to lead the NDC to win 2024 election and form the next government. Let's focus on things that unite us rather than what divides us. And I will continue to build bridges rather than walls, because politics is a game of numbers. And our actions of omission and commissions must be geared towards bringing us more members rather than driving people away, to ensure that we have the numbers to vote for us in 2024, and also ensure that there is party unity and party cohesion. Remember, there is time to retreat and there is time to fight. Our cliche for 2024 remains: no retreat, no surrender.
The chairmanship position is equally being eyed by the longest-serving general secretary of a political party in Ghana, Johnson Esiedu Inketia. According to Mr. Nketia, he comes to the position with enough experience, having served as the chief scribe since 2005. He believes he is poised to spearhead the party's aim to achieve the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness in overseeing its operations.
A lot more remains to be done to finally achieve the level of efficiency and effectiveness we desire as a party and ensure total victory in 2024 elections and beyond. Despite the years of hard work we have put into building this party, our collective vision to build the strongest, most fearless, most courageous, most formidable, most electable, and viable political organization in Ghana and Africa remains work in progress. That means we must put in even more work than before. And to do this, we need to have a fine blend of experience, fearless, trustworthy, and innovative thinking at the helm of the party. With courage and tact, there's no way the NDC would have been defeated in Ayawaso West Wogon by-elections. That defeat emboldened the new patriotic party to roll out a mega diabolical plan which claimed the lives of 8 of our compatriots in the 2020 elections. May their souls rest in perfect peace. And I promise that under my chairmanship, we shall win 2024. Let the NPP bring it on. And when we win, we shall ensure that justice is done.
The position is also being contested by a former Labour Relations and Greater Accra Regional Minister and former Member of Parliament for Klotikoli, Ni Ama Ashite. He noted that the current leadership of the party has failed. Hence, delegates should give him the nod to play the chairmanship role. Ni Ama Ashite says, though the party has the chance of winning the 2024 elections, executives at the branch level must be well-resourced during that period because elections are won at the polling station.
These are people, for example, the branches and the constituencies will work, do house to house and all that. On day of elections, they will go to go to homes, door to door, to call people to go and vote. Ghanaians generally will also go out and vote. And vote, standing on the screen. If after you've done all that, and then we are told that, oh, we have lost. I mean, just imagine people become so disappointed when you expect something better. Particularly in times like this, the problem is about fixing the branches. The branches are the pillars of our party. There are certain functions we call branch functions. If you empower, if you strengthen the branch and you empower the branches, they can do a lot of work for the party. They can secure and protect the ballots. They will train polling agents. They will recruit new members for the party. And I mean, so you see, you are not taking anything out of the branches. The branches can do so many things for us if we strengthen and empower.
A former Deputy Minister for Works and Housing and one-time NDC parliamentary candidate for Bantama, Samuel Yao Edusei, who is also vying for the position, says the party's defeat in the 2016 and 2020 elections is a clear indication that the incumbent chairman and general secretary have failed as executives, and delegates should not give any of them the chance again.
Professor Mills, we had it 2 times and ended up in time. First round, second round, and in time. This is the first time, it was also the first time that a sitting president, a party had a sitting president contesting as the flag bearer for them in their 8th year, in their 2nd term. And it all happened under the stewardship of these 2 people who are contesting each other, Ofusuampofo and then the general secretary. Because in 2016, the general secretary was the chairman of the campaign, and the chairman was the first vice chairman, and then the director of elections. One became chairman, and the other was general secretary in the 2020 elections. The results did not change much, because in all these 2 occasions, we struggled to collate our results. And they had the opportunity to have the sitting president as Flabera and then immediate pass as Flabera in 2016 and 2020 respectively. And they missed all these opportunities. So I think that when you are given the chance to serve and you are not able to deliver, you should step aside for a new set of ideas, fresh ideas, new dynamism and everything to take over the party to ensure our victory in 2024 elections. These people have been in the system for a longer time.
Mr. Eduse says he will spearhead the reorganization of the foundation of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, if elected as chairman of the party.
Positive dynamism that is missing in the party, this kind of the path to go that is not in the party, there's nothing exciting. You understand? Because you are maintaining John Mahama, he's going to be a Flabera anyway. And these two people who are contesting each other, their credentials have not evolved in recent times. You understand? After the passing of George Rawlings, one expected, because George Rawlings has been the embodiment of the party. The party was formed on his vision. He has been the founder of the party. So after his passing, we expected the leadership to derive a mechanism to reorganize the foundation of the party. And I believe that would have given the party a new brand. You understand? These two people who had been in the poor leadership position to effect some of these kind of plans, they have not done it. You understand? So if I get the opportunity to serve as chairman, this is one thing that I'm going to look at. We have to look at the reorganization of the foundation of the party after the passing of George Rawlings so that we give the new generation some hope.
That report was filed by Citi News' Philip Nilati.
You are still listening to the City Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Nilati here with Eno Safo. Still ahead, Trades Union Congress gives the Ministry of Finance a one-week ultimatum for an exemption from government debt exchange program. We have more after this.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Do you know what it's like to live with a fractured leg? Can you even begin to picture what it takes to care for a child who has a broken arm or who was born with a disorder that prevents them from running, from jumping, and playing with other children? Support your favorite media house, 97.3 Citi FM and Citi TV, as we spend Boxing Day, the 26th of December, with the children on admission at the St. Joseph Orthopedic Hospital in Koforidua. With your kind support of cash, we will transform the lives of Ghana's children who must spend Christmas in their hospital beds as their doctors work to correct their various orthopedic disorders. To support us in this quest, send your kind donations of cash via mobile money to 0550-900-006. Checks may be written in the name, the Citi FM Foundation. Alternatively, bring your cash donations to the front desk of Citi FM and Citi TV, located behind the Adabraka police station. Visit www.citinewsroom.com or call 0550-900-006 or 0302-226-013 for more information.
I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1.
You're welcome back to the City Prime News. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana has outlined a raft of regulatory support to mitigate the impact of government domestic debt exchange program for specialized deposit institutions as well as some investment companies. And the Commission has released a statement and it says it's aware for the need for the exchange program as explained by the Ministry of Finance and a consideration that participation will enhance government ability to attain a debt-to-GDP ratio of 55% by 2028, among other benefits to the economic. My colleague Fred Tete Jabano joins us in studio to have a look at this particular statement. What more does the statement say?
Yes, so Neil, you recall that the Bank of Ghana last week also released some measures to support banks as a result of the announcement of the debt the debt exchange program by government. This morning, SEC has also released some measures to support institutions which fall under them. And one of these measures is a number of them, so we'll just take you through some of the measures. One of it says regulatory capital forbearance for market operators whose capital may be impaired because of a domestic debt exchange program. There's also market operators who participate in the program and require some forbearance regarding full compliance to certain regulatory requirements in the conduct of business guidelines, licensing requirement guidelines, the investment guidelines for fund managers, and other regulatory requirements may apply accordingly to the Commission. The SEC shall intervene further with other measures where it becomes necessary. In addition, market operators may participate in the program. Market operators that participate in the program shall have access to the Financial Stability Fund when established, at least as a last resort for liquidity needs. The SEC further notes that the domestic debt exchange program has affected the normal functioning price discovery of the secondary market for the trading of bonds and may lead to difficulty / delays in the ability of some market operators to sell their bonds to meet redemption requests. Market operators are expected to notify the Commission of any such occurrence in accordance with LI 1695 Regulatory 60 Regulations 26 of the SEC laws. Also, investors are hereby advised to remain calm and exercise restraint until the restoration of normalcy in the secondary market for the trading of bonds when the DDEP is completed. Market operators are advised to engage their clients / investors to explain the relevance and impact of the DDEP on the performance of their investments. There are other regulatory reliefs. SEC says that the other regulatory reliefs or exemptions may be considered by SEC in the light of a new and anticipated developments in the market. SEC reserves the rights to revise, amend, modify, vary, and revoke their circular where necessary. So these are some of the measures SEC has put in place to deal with the institutions which fall under them, the fund managers, the pensions, and other things, who may be affected as a result of the debt exchange. And
so in essence, SEC is giving that assurance that it will ensure that none of its fund managers are affected by this particular debt exchange program. So just like the Bank of Ghana released, the release for the banks, SEC is also assuring that it will ensure that these fund managers are not affected heavily. Because it's outlining some measures.
To ensure that they continue running during this period.
And in fact, it has also mentioned that in the worst case scenario, it will make sure that these institutions have access to the Financial Stability Fund when established as a last resort for any form of liquidity challenges that may arise as a result of this particular thing. Well, so that's Fred Tete Jabano with that statement from the Securities and Exchange Commission as far as government debt exchange program is concerned. We have more in our subsequent bulletin as well as on our website, citinewsroom.com. But we stay a while longer on government debt exchange program because the Trade Unions Congress says it has given the Ministry of Finance a one-week ultimatum to exempt the pension funds of its members from the program. Addressing the General Secretary of the TUC, Dr. Yauba, said the group would advise itself if government fails to act on their demand.
After a thorough analysis of the program and a very extensive discussion among the leadership of TUC and our affiliates, we have seen some implications, and that is why we are here this afternoon. Our conclusion is very firm, and it is this, that the program will negatively affect pension funds of our members and consequently their retirement income security. Already pension is low, and we would have thought that our government would do everything to protect even the small pension that we have. Instead, they are introducing programs inspired by IMF to cut further pension income. And as we used to say, we no go sit down. Therefore, the Trade Union Congress and all its affiliate national unions have decided that pension funds of our members will not be part of the domestic debt exchange program.
That's Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Yaba. And in today's edition of City Prime News, which has been live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Our website, citynewsroom.com, has more stories. My name is Ni Latte. This afternoon, I was here with
Enu Safo.
Many thanks indeed for your company. Have a good afternoon.
City 97.3. More variety.
The city is alive on 97.